and that is just have fun. Because I think that creativity fills the vacuum created by fun, okay? I made that up, but I think it's true. Inspiration, this is how we do this. This is it. This is modeled after what I typically do, which are called open Zoom rooms. And in that place, we take a lot of the questions that get asked during that time together, and we address those. That's kind of a free form question and answer thing that's modeled after the Ask Me Anything. And I prefer to use public problem solving. If you see me tackle a question publicly without having prior preparation for that, without having stuff that's already done, and you see all the blunders, and you see all of the things that were done and why they're done, I think it makes a big difference in your learning curve. Okay, y'all agree with that? Melody, Dorn, several of you have been on other Zoom calls that I've done, and you understand why I do that, because I think that makes a huge difference. Okay, you didn't log into a class today. You logged into an interactive learning experience, and I think that's beneficial. I try not to just shoot from the hip, Melody, although I did for about 5 minutes the last webinar that we did, and everybody caught me doing that. But wanted to share with you a couple of things from the Udesigner group, and the amount of work that's being posted there is going down, and I want to see you posting stuff in there. There's some things right here that I think could have helped this guy, and nobody made a comment. Okay, and Lionel, if you're on, I apologize to you. I saw that, but I wasn't able to comment. But somebody tell me how you would help this guy. I'm waiting. The text has to be lighter. You know, dark colored text, and he's used 2 different colors in the text. The font's not as much of an issue. I think the whole purpose is, I get what he's trying to do. The image itself actually kind of works. The image is a flame, and he's talking about financial independence. And, a lot of us, I'm going to say this, a lot of us have watched our retirement go up in smoke. And so I think his imagery would work. The problem is that whenever you put a dark color like dark blue or black, or even in this color, that whatever that color is, that I can't figure out what that is, when that happens, then it blends into, there's a lot of black and red colors. There's a lot of black and orange colors. And so what happens is that you lose the definition of the lettering. And so there's several things that could have been done. Could have been an outline put around it. I agree, Dorn, the call to action could have been bigger, and that's down at the very, very bottom of that. And the problem with the call to action is it totally fades into the background. I do like the background though, but I would have either put that in something that would make the letters stand out, so that the background became subtle. And we'll talk about that a little bit today. And the reason why I'm going to talk about it a little bit more today is because I see this here. I didn't even notice, Paul, thank you. I didn't even notice that it was an acronym. Yeah, a white border or white shadow would have helped a lot. And either of those would have worked. You could have made the border real wide so that it would have looked more obvious. But the point is that sometimes you've got to make sure that your image does for you what you want it to do. Okay, and that's what. And this is how we help each other. We do the very thing that we're doing right here, and that would have been beneficial had we had the opportunity to do that. And the more of those things that you post, the better we all become in the process of that. Ray put some really cool stuff up here. Ray was test driving some concepts and some ideas, and and I didn't look at his all of his text over here. I haven't looked at it for a little bit, but this is a really good looking work here, right? This is a good example. This is a really good example of putting white lettering on a dark background and making it fairly subtle. And I thought it was really, really a good design. And again, the backgrounds don't overwhelm. Here, the background's almost overwhelming. And here, they're not so overwhelming at all. We'll talk about backgrounds in just a minute, okay? I want to remind everybody again, right now, there are some upgrades going on Chrome. There's upgrades going on operating systems. And when that happens, you'll be asked to update your Flash player. If your screen is black, please don't post that in the group and say, what's wrong with Usign? It says right up in the corner, and I wish I could tell you how many times I pointed this out to people. It says right in the corner, update your Flash player. Guess what you need to do? Update your Flash player. So make sure that you do that. Now, using a Chrome browser is going to make for a much better experience, but I've run into this all week long. People have said, I don't like Chrome. I didn't ask you if you liked it. We got to stop falling in love with software and start falling in love with results. Okay? And I agree with what Dorn's saying. This is what happens when you're using Chrome in incognito mode. Okay? This is what happens. You don't have extension conflicts, and you don't have, you're leaving the cache issues kind of behind. Okay? So let's focus our attention on the results, and it'll be amazing what happens. Stop saying, this is my favorite browser, happens to be Bravo or whatever. I get more weird browser things, okay? But Chrome is the best for a builder experience. I don't care what software you're using. Just understand that's important. And then finally, use a mouse. I can't tell you how many times I have people who say, I can't make Usign work. I say, are you using the mouse? First question I ask, are you using the mouse? No, I don't ever use a mouse. Well, that might help you if you do that. So, all right. Simple stuff. Now, this is the reason why I want to focus some attention here today. I did this webinar survey several months ago. And I can't remember how far back it was, but I read this. I did this survey several months ago, and this is the response that you all gave me. Hi, Ivor. This is the response you all gave me, and I think this is really important. But I want you to see how connected these pieces are. All right, the online graphics using Usign and selling services, all three of those are so connected it isn't even funny. Obviously, you have to be able to use Usign in order to produce online graphics and in order to sell services. But that's why the results are so important. That's the reason why we focus our attention on the results. We focus our attention on the why, because that helps you to create the right kind of online graphics. It helps you to know what kind of services that you can sell. So for the next few weeks, we're going to break these down again, and we're going to go through some strategies I'm going to give you that will help you to accomplish all three of those things in a variety of ways. I can't make that screen any bigger, and I'm not going to fuss with it. So Terry, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But that's, I have to use what I've got because I'm watching the chat session on the other side. Okay. So that, but just understand that's what I'm focusing my attention on. You've got three major areas right here. You have online graphics, using Usign, and selling services. And so we're going to focus our attention for the month of August on how do we accomplish those things. So let me give you 4 areas where we're going to begin. And we may not get through too many of these today, but I'm going to give you 4 areas where we're going to begin. One of the things that you can do in selling services right here is you can modify PLR. I'm going to give you some ideas about modifying PLR. PLR is a very popular thing. And there's a great opportunity there to take the out of the box stuff and make it look special. show you a couple of things, a couple of examples of that today. All right. Second thing is social share images. There are some social share images that that you need to have, and I'll show you a secret place where you'll find them. Okay. You can provide course creatives, and I'm going to give you a very simple way to do that. Some courses require certain types of creatives. And by the way, for those of you who are new, when I talk about designing something in Udesign that I'm going to use to enhance something, that's basically a creative. Okay. It might be something that's going to be a social share image. It might be something that I'm going to use in an ad. It might be something that is going to identify, like the favicon at the top, identify the site. But those are the kind of creatives that you can create inside of Udesign. And so we'll develop the skills as we figure out how and why and where we might be able to offer those services. Okay, does that make sense to everybody? And then I'm going to give you a really cool one in print marketing, and I'm calling this one supplementary marketing. Because I want to be able to go back up here to this little image right here. I want to be able to give you a ways to sell services and also to create the online graphics, because all of these, with the exception of the last one, were online graphics. This one's kind of cool. Does anybody have any idea when I talk about supplement marketing? You've heard me use this. We actually did a couple of weeks demos on this. I gave you several places where you get this done at. Does anybody remember what comes to my mind when I talk about supplementing marketing? I have three things that immediately come to my mind. Anybody know what they are? The restaurant, the coffee shop. Think about those kinds of places. I'm not talking about vitamins, because I knew somebody would think that. That's the reason why I stopped and asked the question. When I'm talking about supplementing marketing, people came in the door of the restaurant. Okay. Yes, things like postcards, mailers, menus, those kinds of things. You can create menus, but think about this. What about a table tent? Something sitting on the table that says like our Facebook page, or go to our website, or order a pound of coffee online and get a 10% discount. Those are all things that you can do. We spent 2 weeks talking about kiss stickers and how powerful a kiss sticker is, where you can, or get our app, or those kinds of things. We talked about kiss stickers, how we can put them on the lid of our laptop and walk into the coffee shop and people ask you questions about, what does that mean? You know, I can put my favorite band on there, or I can put my favorite business on there. Does that make sense to you? That's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about supplementing marketing. A sticker on the door, a table tent, a logo on a menu. Those are the kinds of things that make it really easy for you to supplement marketing and do something that the business owner may not have thought of. Okay. This is, I'm going to give you one of these on modifying PLR. This is actually a template in Udesign. And what I did was I put a video behind it. And so the template, which I could list features over here, I can put a call to action on this, and I can create this so that this all, and I'll show you this in just a minute when we go to when we get out of the agenda. But this is a simple way to modify PLR. Think about how much better it will look if you actually take that video and put it inside of something. Does that make sense to everybody? You understand what I'm talking about here? In addition to making covers and those kinds of things, I'll show you one. How many of you, let me ask you this question before I go to the next slide. How many of you have ever opened up a PLR package and it has a mind map and you can't read a thing on the mind map? Without blowing it up, you can't read a thing. They have this amazing mind map, but you're lost completely because you can't see it. What if you took the points in that mind map and created this? Now, which looks better? The mind map that was generated by the software that creates that's put in a PLR package, or this? Which of those is more likely to get attention? And I've taken whatever this is, and I don't remember how many there are. There's four major points here, and then underneath each of those you have 3 or 4 other points. And so I've taken what is that, 16? I've taken 16 and taken almost 20 points, and I've created this. You put 20 points on a typical mind map, and you're lost. But this one, and those of you who've been following me for any time period at all know that this looks like my walls in my house. So this becomes, now that PLR becomes very personal, right? As Jonathan said, it becomes very personal when you do that. And I think it's much easier to follow when you do it like that. So modifying, this is another thing that you can modify, all right? You can modify PLR by creating your own mind maps inside of that. Now, I will say this, Dorn was talking about whiteboards. Yeah, I could have used bullet points. I chose not to because I don't like positioning bullet points because they're a pain in the butt. But I just listed that stuff below that. But here's my point. Dorn said something about whiteboards. Okay, I have to put a little parentheses in here for those of you who might actually do some teaching or training outside of the online space and might do it in your local community or your local. Instead of using whiteboards, and I stopped using whiteboards about almost 20 years ago, and I started using giant sticky notes. And I started using giant sticky notes because you can erase a whiteboard. Do you know how difficult it is for somebody to actually take that giant sticky note, that 2 foot by 3 foot giant sticky note, and wad it up and stuff it in the trash? They'll hang on to it for a long time. And when I was traveling in the country as a national sales trainer, what I did was I would use the giant sticky notes, not to cover the walls in the room where I was talking. I would just do one, and I would do another, and I would do another, and I'd do another one. And then, and I would put things on there that were important, and then I would go back 6 months later, and they would still be in somebody's office. They would still be hanging on the wall. They would still be putting in the training center where they train new people. It kept it around permanently, and that was my point. So I love whiteboards, but I started using sticky notes for that reason. So this is a great way to modify PLR. You can take those too complicated and too difficult to read and make them really, really simple and easy to read. And repurpose that PLR content. The next thing is that the social share. When you share a page, a landing page, a funnel, when you share something like that on Facebook or on Twitter or wherever, you get an image that you have the option of putting an image with that. Making that image is going to be really important. This is a great opportunity for you to be able to provide help to somebody, because you can create those social share images and do that for people and make it really easy for them to connect to that particular piece that you're trying to share. All right. You can do it with a blog post. It's called the featured image on a blog post. But on Facebook page, or I'm sorry, not on pages, but on website pages, landing pages, funnels, those kinds of places require a social share image. This is a great place to do that at. Okay. And someday we may actually show you how we went about doing that. All right. Art has nailed the reason why PLR can be helpful. It gives you a jump start. Don't just change a cover and send it out. Find other ways to repurpose that content, and you'll do that. I have whole courses that I teach on modifying PLR and that kind of thing. I'm not trying to do that here, but I do want you to see that there's a huge opportunity there, and this may be the most overlooked that there is. And it's really fun to do this in design or in Usign. Oops, y'all caught me in that one. All right, this was the course creatives. And each of these are an image. And by the way, there's a purpose behind the color coding here, but each of those is an opportunity in a dashboard for a course. And so that's someplace where the people can click on. But remember, again, the shortest path to success is pick one of these. Suck at selling it, don't quit, and get better. If you do those 4 things, the path to success gets shorter all the time. All right? Any comments so far? Y'all are awful quiet. I have to drink coffee while we're doing this, okay? If you're getting poor quality PLR, it's because you're cheap. Buy expensive PLR. Don't waste your time on crap. I just had to put that in there because I saw that, okay? Because there's a big difference between cheap PLR for $6 and something that you can get for quality for $60. Big difference. Elements of the graphics. This is so important. Remember a while ago when we were looking at this, and I liked the background because of what it does, but what else could you do with this? What else could you do with that background? Somebody tell me what else you could do with that. And actually, it would help it a lot. Nadine, bing, bing. You can reduce the opacity. You can reduce the opacity. Reducing the opacity would have made that drastically, because sometimes the background's overwhelming. And when that background's overwhelming, then you end up with this. But I could have reduced the opacity of that background to about 60 or 70%. And by doing that, then it still would have been obvious that it were flames, but they would not have overwhelmed the image itself, correct? But the background is so important. Whoops, wrong slide. The background is so important. A logo has some importance, not necessarily the most important, but it has some importance. All right. If you are unknown, your logo is not going to be the reason why people click on your ad. Just so you know that. This is marketing 101. If you're unknown, your special font that you're using is not going to cause people to be attracted to your offer. It's your tagline. It's going to cause people to be attracted to your offer. Does that make sense to everybody? I see people who are starting out and they want to have everything in this special font because that's their branded font. Listen, unless you make enough attention, unless you draw enough attention to yourself, your stuff doesn't matter. Your tagline makes a difference. So the tagline is what makes it easy for somebody to understand what you're doing. Somebody tell me what my tagline is, just for fun. And we'll talk about the last one, which is your product image. Your product image is so important. It's how you're communicating value. It's how you're communicating value. Cindy, you're close, but I don't like that phrase. I use that a lot, L. Start with the end in mind, begin with the end in mind. That's a Stephen Covey comment from the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. But my tagline is simple makes awesome easy. And I'm a little embarrassed that none of you knew that. But doesn't make any difference. Simple makes awesome easy. Because you know when you see that tagline, first of all, it's me. And the second thing that you know, if you know me, if you don't know me, it's kind of interesting that you would say that. Let me tell you, let me contrast that, Cindy, for just a moment. The statement, keep it simple, stupid, it implies that simplicity and stupid go together. Simplicity and genius go together. And so you want to keep it simple so that it can be awesome. Albert Einstein was the master of simplicity. And he said everything should be made as simple as possible, but not simpler. I'm going to introduce you to some of these tools over here that will help, okay? Introduce you to some of these tools that will help accomplish some of these things that we're talking about here. And I'm going to show you, maybe we'll get to it, how to modify a template and or take some elements from the template. I really love this little image right here because this perfectly describes what goes on inside my brain. But the designers at Usign put their Z on top of it and embedded it. And I'm like, well, crapola. I wanted to be able to take that and use it. I'm going to show you how you can do that in just a minute. Okay? All right. Does everybody, does that sound interesting to everyone? As we talk about tips and tricks and answer your questions. So let's move from the agenda. And by the way, we made it past the 20-minute mark without having any interruption in the service. And so I'm feeling really good about that. Hang on a second while I change my screen. And I will be right back. I have to go to a new window, and I will be right back. All right, let me know if you can see my screen now. Can you see that okay? All right, good. Okay, this is what I want you to see. This was that overlay, and I put a video behind it, and you can just play the video. And well, I said you could play the video. Oh, I know why. I captured that as an image, not as an actual video. So, but using this overlay is a way that you can modify the videos in a PLR package. All right. So let's go to Usign, and I'm going to do a search for a template. I'm going to start with that template, and I'm going to show you something. Okay. I'm going to type in here. Let's see. It's a t-shirt. So let's go down here and find t-shirt. People ask all the time, where's the t-shirts at? It's under prints. Okay. And you go down here to Teespring, and that's where your t-shirt images are at. And this is it right here. The guys made this for our webinar, and I thought it was pretty cool, but we're going to use it right now. And I'm going to show you what you can do with this. Okay, we might be having a problem now with the internet connection. There we go. All right. Give me a second here. All right, my reaction time is a little slow. So this was the logo that was created here. Okay. Now you'll notice an interesting thing as this goes up, and let me move these elements out of the way so you can see this. Okay. This was the way that was created. All right. I really like this section right here. So how in the world can I save that section and use it? Anybody have an idea? Because this is what should go on. This is how you, this is what you, why you practice. This is why you play. Somebody accused me of playing last week. This is the reason why you play. No, Jonathan, we're not going to go outside of Uzine to do this. All right. And by the way, just let me show you this, because this is not the foreground. This is one image. This was laid on top of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop this. I can't group it separately because it's not a group. I've got this stuff over here that's getting in the way as well. So what I'm going to do, if I can find a corner here. Come on, Eric, find a corner. There we go. What I'm going to do is this. And I'm going to save it to the library. Can you see how I've saved it to see the check mark and the save it to the library? Somebody tell me if you can see that. This is actually has a transparent background. So I'm going to crop it. Okay, I'm having internet issues here, folks, so just stick with me. There we go. Now, come back over here and I'm going to start getting rid of some of these elements. All right. That has made this a ginormous image, which we need to make smaller. But I need to be able to find the corner of it. So to find the corner of it, I have to show the off element image stuff, right? In order to find the handle here. How come I can't find the handle? Y'all tell me if you see the handle. Nope, that's what I'm showing you how to do right now, Melody, is I didn't save that to my computer at all. I actually saved it when you go over here to graphics. I've actually saved this right here as an upload. All right. Because it said save to my library. That's not on my computer. That is actually in my Uzine library. And I'm finding the corner. There's my corner finally. So now I can make this smaller. There we go. Now, y'all see that? If you can't find it, use this this button right here, which says hide or show off element or off canvas elements. But here it is, okay? So now, let me show you what I'm going to do with this now. Now that I have this, this is what I'm going to do with this. I'm going to take this and I'm going to look for something I can cover this, because I can't ungroup it. Everybody keeps saying ungroup it. I can't. This is a single image. So I don't have any way to ungroup it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a search. And I'm going to take this picture of this brain and I'm going to put this over the top of the Z. The problem with this one is that it has a transparent background. So I need to change, I need to get something that doesn't have a transparent background. So we'll keep looking until we find something that has a transparent background. How about this one? Nope, that's got a transparent background. Here we go. So you could do that. You could do the light bulb. I like the light bulb too, by the way. Let's see if that's transparent or not. Nope, it's not transparent. Perfect. I actually like the light bulb better. So thank you for pointing that out. Jonathan, I appreciate that. So let's see if we can make that work. So I'm now taking my template. Make sense? I'm covering up the element that is in my way and that I don't really, I don't want this Z in there because I'm not promoting Usign using this element for my own purposes. I'm not promoting Usign. So what I want to do is I just want to make it go away. Right? So now I have this and I can save this. How am I going to save this? Anybody know? How am I going to save it? I'm going to save it as a group. You're exactly right. So what I do is I've got the top element selected, hold down my shift key, go to the background element. And now you notice up here, I have this group box right here. I hit group, I save that. I go over here to groups. Somebody asked me the other day, when would you ever use groups? Like every day. I use them all the time. All right, so let's get rid of this. And now I have this, okay? And to ungroup it, Jonathan's asked me to repeat the process. I'm going to repeat the process in reverse. This is my group or ungroup button is right here. I click on the ungroup button. I now have two pieces. I have this one and I have the background, this one. Okay. Looks like I have two of those. I may have. All right. So now I have this single group right here. That makes sense to everybody? Now I've got another problem. What's my other problem? This stuff down here that's in the way, right? Now, this is a gigantic image also, by the way. I'd ungroup if I wanted to move these elements around. I don't want to move them, but I was showing how to do that if I wanted to, okay? I would like to have some color contrast too. The problem is I don't really have the option of doing that because this is an image, this is an image. So I don't really have the option of doing that. What I do have the option of doing is I can change the background. Of course you can. All you have to do is ungroup. Again, why would you ungroup? So I can do this. So I can rotate this image, right? And see my rotate key right there? Now, let me tell you the reason why you would want to rotate that. It gets us out of this thing which was trying to create symmetry, right? Good catch, Rob. What I can do now is I can get away from this transparent background and I can make the background, let's do a gradient background here because they show up a little bit better. I'll do that from the center. I'll move that so that it's covering up those corners of my Z are showing up just a little bit. And by doing that, you see what's happened with that? By making that slight change. Those are simple modifications to a template. Are you with me? I've got one more problem, right? I got all this stuff down here. And I may like that, I may not like it. What I might want to do, go to a custom size, and I'm now going to crop that out of the area. All right, so I can crop it without changing that color, like that. Now, what do you think? So we've taken a simple template, of which you have bunches of those, and we've modified that and removed it. And the truth is, I kind of like the fact that this is white here, and this is a dark black, and this is not as black because it makes that stand out. Understand? All right, any questions about that? I just simply took something that I found on a t-shirt design. Now, the second thing I want you to see is that we've got, this is an enormous image, right? No, I can't. This is an image. There's nothing I can do with it. There's nothing I can do with this because it's an image as well. So I can't do any of those things that you're asking about there. There's some things that I could do, and let me do this and I'll show you. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. The answer, Paul, is that sometimes the designers group images and sometimes they don't. It just depends on, like this was intended to be branded like this. I just unbranded it in the only way I could find to do that. So this is what I could do, all right? I can actually take this image, I'm gonna make this smaller, and I'm gonna show you something that you can do with this that would be kind of Well, I can't do that with this because, well, I can too. Let's do this. I'm going to actually take this image right here and I'm going to save it. All right. Make that like that. And I'm going to save this image. I'll show you something cool you can do with this. I told you we're not going to get very far today on this agenda, but I am going to go through the month of August. We're going to go through all these modifications, but you need to see how to do this first. So I have this now. What I'm going to do is this. I'll pull this in here to erase. And I have good contrast. So let me take the background over here. Let's make it a color so I can see it. And you see the color showing through over here, even though it appears as though it is white. But that's how you find out. See that? It actually has already undone all of that for me. It's already erased the background for that. So watch what I'm going to do with this now. I'm going to change that background drastically now by putting a solid color behind it. And yes, I've now got this. So watch what I'm going to do here. All right. Watch what I'm going to do with this. You're going to love this. I'm going to go to I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. It goes to the earlier question. And the earlier question was, can you lighten the center of this? Watch how I'm going to do this. Take a gradient background. And let's modify this outside color here. And we'll make that. We'll make that color a brighter yellow. Y'all see that? I want that glow a little bit brighter. Let's see. Nope, I'm gonna run out of time if I do that. Let me create this. I'm gonna download this. I'm not done yet. Y'all just wait till I get finished with this. So I had to save this one to my computer. I'm gonna upload the image now. I have this one right here. So now I have an image on top of an image. Let me get rid of the originals. Take the background. I'm going to make it transparent now so you can see what I'm doing. Are you with me? That's not what I want. See, it drew a circle around this. That's not what I want. What I want is, I want to take that and I want to move that in just a little bit. It's trying to tell me it knows what I want to do, and it does not. Okay. I'm just about there. It's trying to be intelligent. And sometimes trying to be intelligent with what I want to do doesn't work. All right, you see that now? Now look at our result here. Now what do you think? How many steps? 6, 7? Less than 3 minutes while giving you instruction? Took the image and we modified it. Fairly simple. So when you go back to your dashboard, and you look at the templates, and you find something in the templates and you go, man, that is really cool. I wish I had that. Then guess what? You can probably figure out a way to make it work, right? Do y'all believe that now? This is what happens when you refuse to listen to all of the noise saying, well, in order to do that, you have to have this. In order to do that, you have to have that. What you do instead is focus on mastering the tool that you have. And when you learn to do that, what happens next becomes pretty unbelievable. And I really liked being able to create that little light bulb for you. How much fun was that? First of all, how much fun was that? Tell me if you thought that was fun, because I had a blast doing it. I don't know if the rest of you did or not. I thought that was a lot of fun. I think it gives us we see something and we go, how do I make this so it becomes fun? How do I make this so it's exciting? How do I make this so, somebody said it would be nice if the inside of the light bulb would glow. Okay, let's figure out how to do that. Do you understand the power of doing the public problem solving? All right, that brings us up to almost the top of the hour. Went faster than I had expected, but we're at the top of the hour. All right, you all have a great weekend. Be sure and share your designs. Be sure, hey, take this, what we learned in this webinar, take this, practice it, share it in the group. And if you have questions, ask, okay? All right, y'all have a great weekend, and I will see you soon.